Some of y'all are about to be real mad at me, but it must be said. I've been wanting to do this video for a while, but I've been putting it off because, like, personally, I don't even think I'm capable of doing this. But I also am really curious about other people's version of this, so I thought, why not do it myself? Which is ranking every single Taylor Swift song ever. Actually, I'm not sure because I'm using a template, so it might just be every song on every album. I haven't given this any previous thought about how I would rank them. First thing that comes to my head, my first initial thoughts and feelings about each song, I'm ranking them. Also, obviously, no one is gonna agree with me. Everyone's gonna have completely different rankings. And I always post videos like this on my TikTok, and it annoys me like no other when people are like, justice for this song, or how could you do that to this song? Like, obviously, I just have different feelings than you do, so if you have different feelings, you can do your own ranking. Obviously, you can comment and like discuss, but don't be rude and acknowledge that other people have different opinions than you do. I think I know the words to every single Taylor Swift song ever made, so if I rank a song really low, that doesn't mean that I don't like it, I don't appreciate it, and I don't know it. It's just like not my favorite. If one of my skips is one of your favorites, sorry, but that's this funny thing we call opinions. I've done a bunch of ranking videos in the past, usually to do with books. Actually, I think only to do with books. Also, if you're a Swiftie and you like books, first of all, subscribe to me. Second of all, be my friend. Third of all, I have a book recommendation based on Taylor Swift songs, so you can watch that video. But without further ado, let's get into these rankings. I know you guys are gonna hate me right off the bat because Debut and Fearless are my two least favorite Taylor Swift albums, and I'm going in order of the albums, so I feel like there's gonna be a bunch of like lowly ranked songs right off the start. By the way, I'm gonna put like God Tier is like my favorite songs of all time. Like that one's gonna be a little bit selective, but Perfection is like songs that are like my favorites of each album, but they're not like my favorites of all time. Does that make sense? Starting off strong, we have Mary Song. Really love this song. One of my favorites on Debut. Our song is Perfection. I think this is the first song that I ever like stand as a Swiftie. Like I had Debut on CD and I'd put it in my karaoke machine, and Our Song was the one I had on repeat that I was singing. I love that song. Okay, but here we're gonna get into some. I have a lot of skips on Debut. I never really listened to Debut. I'm not really a country fan, so don't mind me down here just putting I'm Only Me When I'm With You, Invisible, and A Perfectly Good Heart. I can still appreciate them, but I don't love them. But Tim McGraw, I'm putting as Perfection. Picture to Burn, Love. Teardrops on My Guitar is going in Love as well. If I really think about it, I do listen to that song a lot. But A Place in This World is gonna go not my fave. Cold as You, it depends on my mood for sure. Outside, not my fave. Tied Together with a Smile, not my fave. Stay Beautiful, no. Should have said no. Perfection. That is my Debut ranked right there. We don't have any God tiers on Debut, but we do have some God tiers on Fearless. Fearless, Love, 15. When I was younger, I would say 15's Perfection, but now that I'm like way older than 15, I don't really listen to it that much, so I'm gonna put it in Love. Love Story, Love. Hey Steven, depends on my mood, just because I know a guy named Steven and I don't like him. White Horse, oh, I'm putting God here, no going back. I feel like I listen to this song so much. I just love it. And I actually feel the same way about You Belong With Me. I don't want to hear, it's a pick-me song, whatever. Fine, I don't care. It's a banger. The bridge, insane. Like, everyone knows that song. Breathe is not my fave. I don't know why, it reminds me of a church song for some reason. Tell Me Why is also not my fave. You're Not Sorry, like, how could I forget That's the Way I Loved You? That is my automatic God tier. Wait, I think I'm demoting, okay, don't get mad at me, but I think I'm demoting You Belong With Me down to Perfection because it doesn't live up to how much I love That's the Way I Loved You. Like, That's the Way I Loved You is my favorite song on Fearless, and it doesn't live up to that, so that demoted it. I just demoted it after singing it with my whole heart. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go Forever and Always regular version, Love. But then I'm gonna go down to Forever and Always piano version, Perfection. Argue with the Wall. The Best Day depends on my mood. Pretty sure it's about her mom. So yeah, it depends on my mood. Change, not my fave. Jump Then Fall, not my fave. Untouchable, not my fave. You All Over Me, also not my fave. Oh god, we're creating a new row for not my fave. Coming With the Rain, not my fave. Superstar, also not my fave. Oh, The Other Side of the Door is insane. But I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna put it in Perfection because like the last minute is God tier, but like the first half is just like perfect, but it's not like one of my all-time faves. Shaves a Fairy Tale, I like it. Mr. Perfectly Fine, Perfect. We were happy. Does it depend on my mood or is it not my fave? I'm gonna put it not my fave if I have to contemplate it. That's when. Depends on my mood. Don't You. I like Don't You. Don't You is probably my favorite ball track besides Mr. Perfectly Fine. And then Bye Bye Baby is not my fave. Okay. We're not doing great right now. There's a lot in the not my fave category. Bear with me because we're on Speak Now, and Speak Now is one of my favorite albums. I don't think there's like a single, actually there's probably like one on this album that I skip. The rest, insane. Sparks Fly, love. Back to December, one of my favorite songs of all time. God Tier. Speak Now, it's gonna go in like. Dear John, that is God Tier. Dear John's insane. Mean, I'm gonna put Mean in like. I don't listen to it like at all anymore, but I have to give it credit because when I was a kid, it was my favorite. Like when it first came out, that was my repeat. Like I just was like, oh my god, so relatable, Taylor Swift. Love this song. Story of Us, oh. This is so hard to think on the spot where I rank them. Like, I think The Story of Us is love. Or is it perfect? No. Love. Never Grow Up. I'm putting that in perfection because the lyrics just make me cry every time I hear it because, like, I have this constant fear of growing up and that's literally what the song is about. Who doesn't love a really good, relatable song? I know I do. Enchanted. Is Enchanted God Tier or perfect? I'm putting in perfect. Remember that was like trending on TikTok? Better Than Revenge. Don't hate me, but I'm a Better Than Revenge lover. I don't agree with the message, but men are the problem, not women. Doesn't mean I don't love the song though. Innocent, I think is underrated. Kind of love it. Haunted. See, Haunted, oh. Yeah, that's a love for sure. Last Kiss. Well, that's a God tier. I went through the biggest Last Kiss phase my sophomore year. Last year, I go in the shower and queue up Last Kiss like 40 times in a row.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Long Live. I put it in love. Now we need to zoom out because now I can't see the rest. Hours. Depends on my mood. I used to like it when I was little, but now that I'm older, it's like not a vibe anymore. This was a movie. Love. Underrated. Yeah, that's insane and so underrated. Okay, then I think my only skip is Superman. Not a Superman fan, TBH. I know. Back to December acoustic, like perfection, but I listened to the regular one more. Haunted acoustic. I feel like it's equal to Haunted regular version. Mine, perfection. Wait, we already did The Story of Us. Why is there two? There's one right here. I'm just gonna put it right next to the original one. Now we're getting into red. Wait, I guess ultimately like this chart is gonna determine what my favorite Taylor Swift album is. Like my favorites based on songs. State of Grace, regular version. Perfection, one of my favorites on the album. Red. I'm putting in love. Treacherous. Love. I Knew You Were Trouble. Like, I don't really listen to it that much. All Too Well, regular version. Perfection. All Too Well, 10-minute version. God tier. See, like before Red TV came out, I would have said regular All Too Well was God tier, but now that I know All Too Well 10-minute version exists, it's unbeatable. 22. Like, I think this one's just overplayed for me, you know? I Almost Do. Immediate God tier. We're Never Getting Back Together. Like, again with the overplayed thing for me. Stay, Stay, Stay. See, I don't love the beat and I don't love the song that much, but the part that's like, you took your time to memorize me, my fears, my hopes and dreams, I just like hanging out with you, is insane. So I'm gonna put it in like, I think it's the bridge. Just Taylor gets me with like every bridge. I'm like, okay, but it doesn't make up for the whole song. The Last Time, perfection. I don't want to hear shit talk on The Last Time. Holy Ground. I know what Holy Ground and like, it's really not one of my favorites on there, but I still really like it. Sad, Beautiful, Tragic.
Kiss me, try to fix it. Could you just try to listen?
She's insane for that. But yeah, I'm putting that in love. Lucky One, also love. Reminds me of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Everyone says that, but it's so true. Everything Has Changed. Perfection. Starlight. I don't hate it, but it definitely depends on my mood. I won't listen to it out of choice very often. Begin Again. Perfection. The Moment I Knew. Putting that in love. Listening to The Moment I Knew on your birthday like hits different. I just really like that song. I feel like I appreciate that song a lot. Come Back, Be Here. Am I putting it in God tier because I love it as much as the other God tiers, or do I just relate to it the most out of any song Taylor's ever written? I'm gonna put in Perfection because I don't think it amounts to my God tiers. It just hits really close to home. Speaking of home, Girl at Home. Girl at Home's a like, for sure. Nothing crazy to me. got a girl at home and everybody. State of Grace acoustic version, immediately to the God tier. I love the acoustic version so much. Now we're getting to the vault tracks. Ronin, actually the most heartbreaking song she's ever written. I can't listen to it. Like, you will not catch me listening to Ronin unless I'm like wanting to force myself to cry. I'm gonna put it in like, because I see that it's like a perfect song and the message and the meaning and the story, but I can't handle it, and that's a personal problem. I'm putting Nothing New as God tier. Too relatable. I literally just had to sit here and have like a whole revelation thinking about the lyrics because it actually is insane. Okay, I think the red vault tracks are like some of my favorites on the whole album, which is crazy. I never expected that. Better Man is one of those, but I'm gonna put it in perfect. Babe, see, don't love the song Babe, but that one part, you know the part I'm talking about, like that part makes up for like the whole beginning. Should I just put that in like I feel like that's not fair. That like a little 20-second part makes up for the whole thing. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in like. Message in a Bottle is also a like. It's probably like my least favorite vault track from Red, Taylor's version. I Bet You Think About Me, Perfection. I love that song and I love the music video. I love her like little fake country accent. Like she really pulled it back out like the good old days. Okay, Forever Winter, love. I think that song is so underrated. Run, Pete Ed Sheeran. It's gonna go in like, right? Yeah, The Very First Time, love. Okay, now we're on to 1989, which, exciting enough, this Love, Taylor's version from 1989 came out last night as I'm filming this, because it's gonna be in the Summer I Turned Pretty book to TV series adaptation. I have been talking about and have loved that book, and then I just worked with them, and then I found out Taylor's also working with them. When Worlds Collide, for real. I think we're gonna get 1989 Taylor's version next. But anyway, Welcome to New York. When I'm going to New York City, like I play Welcome to New York every time as I'm like going through the tunnel. So it brings back an immediate good vibe, but it's not like one of my faves, so I'm gonna put it in like. Blank Space though, like I'm an unironic Blank Space stan. I love it. Style, that's perfection for sure. Out of the Woods, perfection. Remember when you hit the brakes too soon? 20 stitches in the hospital room. Let me show you something. This is one of my prized possessions. I have the iconic Out of the Woods, Your Necklace Hanging from My Neck, Two Paper Airplanes Flying, Taylor Swift and Harry Styles necklace. I got it off a random Etsy shop. Sorry, I just had to add that in as we're talking about Out of the Woods. Anyway, back to what we were doing. How You Get the Girl. That's like probably my least favorite on the album. I'm gonna put it in Depends on My Mood. I'm not the biggest fan of this Love, to be honest. I'm gonna put it in like though. Like I have nothing against it, but I'm not the biggest fan. I Know Places. I'm gonna put it in like. The chorus, like I love, but I'm not the biggest fan of the rest. Clean. God tier, best song on the album. All You Have to Do Is Stay. I like that one. Shake It Off. See, now that's one of the ones I don't love. It depends on my mood. I would never like willingly put on Shake It Off, to be honest. But I respect it and I can see why it became like the biggest single like ever. I Wish You Would. Love. Bad Blood. Depends on my mood. I don't really listen to it. But Wildest Dreams is God tier to me. I love that song so much. Wonderland. I know some of you are gonna be real mad about this, but I actually think Wonderland is a like for me. I don't think I love it. Yeah. You Were in Love. God tier. Tears are getting so long. New Romantics. Love. Very catchy. A banger. We're on to Reputation. Oh my god, how am I gonna rank like the rest of the albums? I think my favorite albums are Folklore, Evermore. My two favorite albums are Folklore and Evermore, and then the third one, like, I can't choose. Like, it's between, it depends on my mood. So this is gonna tell us, like, what my favorite albums are, but the rest of them, like, Reputation, Lover, Folklore, and Evermore is gonna be so hard for me to rank. Let's get into it, though. Ready for It, though, is not my fave. It's probably my least favorite on the album, to be honest. Endgame, love. I Did Something Bad, love. Don't Blame Me, love. I feel like Reputation is a solid love. There's some that fall below and some that go above, but like all of them are so solid that it's like just such a solid album for me. Delicate, Perfection, one of my faves. Look What You Made Me Do is Depends on My Mood. I'll listen to if I'm like mad or mad at someone specifically and I need like a good angry song, but I don't listen to it that much. So It Goes is not my fave. It's probably like my only like actual skip on the whole album. Gorgeous, love. Wait, potentially even Perfection. Yeah, I'm gonna put Gorgeous as love. Getaway Car, God tier. God tier. I'll never get over that video of her and Jack Antonoff like writing it in the booth. They're geniuses. King of My Heart, Body and Soul, ooh, oh. Love. Dancing with Our Hands Tied. Probably like. Dress, Perfection. At one point it was a god tier for me, but I haven't really been listening to it lately, so I'm gonna put in Perfection. This is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. I'm gonna put like Call It What You Want is one of my god tiers. I love Call It What You Want. And New Year's Day is Perfection. I think I'm happy with that ranking. Why does my computer sound like a fucking jet taking off? It's like overpowered right now. Anyway, let's rank Lover. Lover was one of my least favorite albums when I first listened to it, but now it's one of my favorites. It like did a complete turnaround. I think I experienced all this stuff and then started relating to it and was like, I need to appreciate the fuck out of Lover. Like I relate to Lover so much now, and it's probably my current most listened to album at the moment. I Forgot That You Existed. It's like one of my like least listened to songs on the album, but I still really like it. Death by a Thousand Cuts, god tier. Cruel Summer, god tier. I feel like Cruel Summer should have been a single. Like I want her to like re-release Cruel Summer as a single because I think it would blow up. I think it would be like on every radio station ever, and it would be like the new Shake It Off, except like insanely good. Like I feel like she fumbled the bag with Cruel Summer. The Archer is also god tier. I have a bow and arrow tattoo on my ankle, and it's like half for the Song of Achilles and then half for The Archer, my favorite book and one of my favorite songs. Lover, Perfection, so good. The Man, honestly, I love The Man. Just because I love the message behind it in the music video, like I think it's funny, and also it's so true. I Think He Knows, love. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, love. Oh god, this tier rank is getting super tall. Paper Rings, Perfection. I'm putting Cornelia Street in god tier. I love that song so much. I went there, like when I was in New York, I was in that area and I ended up walking to Cornelia Street and seeing the exact house Taylor's talking about in that song. It was so cool. London Boy, love. Soon You'll Get Better. I'm gonna put that in like, it's like sad. False God, Perfection. Fucking love that song. You Need to Calm Down. That depends on my mood. That's probably my least favorite on the album actually. Don't love it that much. Afterglow, god tier. Me is not my fave. I just don't really love that song. I think it's a good like choice of a single because it's like catchy, but I think Cruel Summer would have done better. I never listen to Me. I always skip it. It's Nice to Have a Friend. I'm putting that in love. I think it's underrated. And then Daylight, god tier. The Daylight Live from Paris. Okay, that's Lover all ranked. Damn, we have so many god tiers on Lover. That's crazy. But now we're getting into Folklore. This is where it's gonna get really hard. I love Folklore. Folklore is my favorite Taylor Swift album. It's what made me re-fall in love, like become like a stan of Taylor Swift. Like I've always listened to her, but I became like a stan when Folklore came out and haven't turned back since. The One, Perfect, Perfection. Cardigan, god tier. I think it's one of her most well-written songs. Last Great American Dynasty, love. Think it's genius, insane. The first time I heard it, I got chills in my whole body when she's like, and then it was bought by me. Oh, if you guys haven't watched the Long Pond studio session on Disney Plus for Folklore, even if you're like not a diehard Swiftie, which you probably are if you've watched this video this long, go watch it right now. I've never appreciated someone's musical genius more than when I watched that movie. I made my whole family sit down and watch it during quarantine, and then I think they all gained a newfound respect for Taylor Swift. Things are getting so small I can't even read them anymore. Exile. I'm putting Exile in Perfection. Sometimes it's a god tier, but sometimes it's perfect. I'm gonna just put it in Perfection though because I can't decide. My Tears, Ricochet, god tier. I think that song is flawless and amazing in every way. As I'm editing this, I realized I said god tier and then put it in the love category. I think I meant to put it in god tier. I fucked up, so ignore that. Mirror Ball. I'm also putting that in Perfection. Like, it's so good. 7. I'm gonna put 7 in love. It probably used to be a Perfection for me, but I listen to it a lot less now. But I still really love it and appreciate it. August, god tier, of course. This Is Me Trying, god tier. That song really strikes the soul though. Okay, Mad Woman, I'm gonna put in love. That is probably my least listened to song on the album though, but I still love it. I just like don't really like the beat, but I love the meaning in the words. Illicit Affairs, Perfection. Invisible String, Perfection. Epiphany, love. That song is so underrated. I think Betty's god tier to me, to be honest. Is that an unpopular opinion? I don't know. I think it is. The Lakes, love. I love The Lakes. Peace, god tier. It's my favorite Taylor Swift song. I have a tattoo for it. Can you see that? Is it enough if I can never bring you peace? Like, oh, so true, Taylor. And Hoax. I'm gonna put Hoax in. I'm putting Hoax in love. That's such a solid album. Like, there's not a single song that is lower than a love. And that's how you know it's your favorite album of all time. And last but not least, let's get into Evermore, which is a close second for my favorite Taylor Swift album. Willow is probably one of my least favorite songs on the album, and it's still going in love. Champagne Problems, God tier. Everyone knows that. Gold Rush. Wow, that's hard. I'm putting Gold Rush in Perfection. I don't like that falling, feels like flying to the bone crush. 'Tis the Damn Season is God tier for me. So relatable, unfortunately. Tolerate It is Perfection. I think like My Tears Ricochet, This Is Me Trying, and Tolerate It are like a trio in my head. Like when I want to be like so sad but also sing and like feel every word in my soul, those are like the holy trinity. I think they're perfect. No Body No Crime, love. I'm more of a lyric relatable kind of gal, so I'm gonna put it in love because it's like about murdering someone. I just think it's also a really good song though. Like I think it's super cool. I'm putting Coney Island in love. Coney Island was one of the ones I really loved like right off the bat. My brother really loves that song, which is like so random, but now I listen to it a lot less. But I still think the part like she like acknowledges all of her different exes, I think that part's genius. Officially got into the part where I have to scroll down a little because I can't even see the rest of the songs left. But Happiness, Perfection, I think that song is really good and also underrated. Dorothea, God tier. It was my most listened to song of 2021. Probably listen to that song like every single day. It's like always in my rotation. I'll never get sick of it. I think it's the cutest song, and I Want to Be Dorothea, and also I just love it. Ivy, Perfection. Cowboy Like Me, Perfection. With Your Boots Beneath My Bed, Forever Is the Sweetest Con. Long Story Short, love. Your nemesis will defeat themselves before you get the chance to swing, and he's passing by. Marjorie, I'm putting it in God tier because I think it's so good, but I can't listen to it that much because it makes me literally bawl my eyes out. It's so good though, and it's one of those songs when I first heard it, I like instantly started crying, which like doesn't happen too often. And like every time I hear it, this song and Cardigan, when I get to like the bridge of Cardigan and then just the entire song of Marjorie, are those songs that every time I hear them, I get chills and tear up, like without fail. Like it happens every single time, and I just like can't even control it at this point. Closure is like my least favorite song on the album. I'm gonna put in like, but I still think it's good. So Evermore, love, but I don't listen to it too much. Right Where You Left Me, Perfection. I just think like the whole like concept of that song is so insane. Like you really have to listen to it to like understand it, and I feel like it's not appreciated enough. And same with It's Time to Go, I also think is perfection. When the words of a sister come back in whispers to prove she was not in fact what she seems, not a twin from your dreams but a crook who was caught. Can you tell I really feel that in my soul? Okay, then there's a few random songs at the bottom that she's released. So we have Renegade, which I actually think is perfection. Genius. This is my whole list. It's a lot to look at, that's for sure. But I think this is my tier ranking all complete. It's really crazy to look at. I think I'm gonna like zoom in on my God tiers and maybe the perfections for you to look at because it's really hard to see everything. But yeah, that is gonna be the end of today's video. That was super fun. I hope you enjoyed watching. I love Taylor Swift. If I could only listen to one artist for the rest of my life, it would be Taylor Swift. But with all that being said, thank you for watching today's video. If you want to follow me on my other social medias, they're all linked down below as always, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Bye!